Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wahoo Warrior channel. I kind of made a commitment to try to start putting some videos up. It's not a battle report today, so unfortunately for that. But I have been plugging away in between whenever I have some time or time off on my Marine Corps list, and I'm making some pretty good progress on them. But I noticed a couple supportive people posting on my YouTube, and so I'm going to try to get back to kind of some of the question and answer format in between battle reports and when I'm posting some stuff up. There's still a lot of new players out there to bolt action, and hopefully I can kind of encourage you guys. Had a lot of people come up to me and just say hi to me when I was at Adepticon, and that was really nice. So I'll try to impart any knowledge that I have. The way I look at things oftentimes is different than others, because there's so many ways to go when it comes to questions with bolt action. In particular, and looks like Manta 3D just posted up on a video, and he posted up, how should I start by building my Waffen SS? And in a lot of game systems, you'll have a very definitive, this is how you want to build your army for maximum results. And in bolt action doesn't really work that way. So if you post that up on the Facebook groups, a lot of people will tell you different things, but they'll be encouraging. But really, you need to kind of look at what do you want to accomplish with your Waffen SS right off the bat. Do you want a very historical list? Do you want something that's going to wreck face? Do you want something that's going to give you an advantage in most games when it comes to your overall selection? So I try to kind of make my list somewhere in between. I want to take something that's fun to play, something that's challenging for me to play, something that gives me an advantage if things go my way. So if I was you and I was building a Waffen SS list, first off, I particularly don't usually just focus in on just Waffen SS, because the problem you have with building a straight up every infantryman in your army is a Waffen SS is going to be the same problem I had with my American Airborne, in that you're going to get oftentimes out ordered diced. You're going to have less dice, better quality, but you can get out maneuvered. So say you do take a tank or a Puma, you may have difficulty employing that effectively if they've got 6 or 7 more order dice than you. So I would say, for the sake of list building, I particularly would build 2 units of Waffen SS, and I would make them as awesome as possible. So I'd say a 10-man group if you want to go 10-man, or you can take 4 6-man units, depending on how you're building your list. If you're building a single platoon or a double platoon, if you're building a single platoon, taking multiple 6-man units, it can be a little bit more difficult because you're going to want some other units as opposed to just your 6-man SS. So look, just for the sake of this discussion, we'll just say it's a single platoon, which is a very common format for most clubs. I would probably take 2 10-man Waffen SS squads. You could make them 8, but the way I would employ when I do a tough unit, it's good to have 2. One can get pinned down and then run into difficulty. If you take 2 10-man squads and you want to give them the fanatics, you're going to have 2 very powerful yet very point cost units. And how you kit those out, definitely take a couple Panzerfaust, because they will probably score you some vehicles, especially going to be pushing them up into combat, because you're going to want to be as aggressive as possible with these 2 units. There's no point in paying almost 200 points per unit and having you just kind of trolling around the back of the board edge. You can kit them up with submachine guns or assault rifles. Submachine guns are cheaper. I'm assuming you're taking late war SS. You could take early war SS, but you have the option of 2 submachine guns plus the NCO of a submachine gun. You can make them fanatic. Unless you're playing in strictly a theater of early war games, I wouldn't do that. If you want to take them to an early war and you take the early war ones, they'll be good just because the opponents won't have as much to fight them, but they're not going to be that great. They're going to a straight Japanese unit is fanatic. They take them as veteran as well, or even regulars. They're going to have more guys than you, and it'll be a wash. You'll be spending more points for less. So if you're going to take them at late war. In recommendation. Put a couple Panzerfausts in there, and then kit them out with either assault rifle with submachine guns or a combination thereof. I don't bother to put light machine guns on my SS units. I've tried that in a while back with German veterans with multiple light machine guns. What I have a tendency to do is they sit back shooting, which they probably should be doing, but they're just not doing the damage that they need to do for the point cost. There's better options, in my opinion. Smaller regular squads with one light machine gun, I think it is better. I just like to put my veterans in harm's way. So, say you take a mix of 5 submachine guns and 5 assault rifles in your 10-man squad, a couple Panzerfausts, or you could just have a couple rifles as well. But what you're going to want to do, you're going to want some way to get them into the action quick. And you're going to either want a truck. The truck you can take it regular or inexperienced. You should probably take it at regular. You may or may not put a machine gun on there. I tend to like to with second edition because trucks are a little harder to kill and they can fire a weapon system without anybody in there, or fire one weapon, and gives them something to do later in the game, as opposed to just being a dead order dice that you're trying to protect. But sometimes you don't always have the points for it. The other option is a half track. Half tracks have gotten, I think, in theory, more popular in second edition bolt action. The joys of those is that your guys are much more safer. It costs a lot more points though. It is handy if you have a 10-man SS squad in there and you push it up and you take multiple pins. You could just rally inside there. You could also do that in a truck, but a half track's a little safer, has a medium machine gun. It's your personal preference. You could even take one half track in a truck or two. Trucks are definitely cheaper. The nice thing about half tracks, it depends on your local meta, how terrain rich the boards are. What I found at like Adepticon and Operation Sting, there's lots of hedges, there's lots of rough ground. So the half track definitely would be better in an environment with lots more stuff in your way. If you have kind of a club where they throw out some Warhammer fantasy terrain and they call it good, that truck will be worth a lot more because you'll be able to zip it up. May not have anything to hide behind, but you can zoom it up really quick. So it's your choice, but you do want some type of vehicle to push those guys up into the fray. You need to get them out of the truck and shooting those submachine guns and assault rifles. The choice of going into close combat is a little better with the SS if you have them at Fanatic. It's going to cost you 30 points to turn the unit Fanatic. You don't want to throw them away on just pointless hand-to-hand combats, but at least if you do have a bad round of combat, you will not die. But all your guys will be tough fighters because they're kitted up with assault rifles and submachine guns. Again, every other nation army books can take a better choice for cheaper, but it won't be quite as well rounded as the SS because of the ability to take all the equipment. So if you're going to take them, kit them up. Because veteran American 1 point for tough fighter, and they took if they take one submachine gun or so, they're way better value than you. Same with the Japanese, same with a lot of nations. The catch is if you go all in on the SS and you spend a ton of points on them, they're a great unit, but you've got to pay 3 points per guy, then 3 points per guy for whatever weapon system they have. If you're going to do it, go all in. They're fun to play because a truck can hold 12, a half track as well. So in one truck, you're going to want basically a lieutenant. He's going to be able to pop out, and once everyone's out of the vehicles, start doing those snap twos. I would highly recommend taking a flamethrower in the other vehicle. They're just so powerful in close combat. It'll also, or in the close quarters area, it'll also force your opponent to make decisions. So he's going to either move or try to kind of get you first, and it makes your SS much more powerful. In that they're moving and firing with the threat of a flamethrower lurking behind them. It also helps them out. So if your opponent has some flamethrowers, you might have an answer to that in your flamethrower. So yeah, that's all I can really recommend for SS. Then you're going to really want to look at your support units. And after that, I would just take regulars, honestly, to fill out whatever point slots you're looking at. Maybe a couple regular squads with a light machine gun. They don't have to be 10-man squads. You could take assault engineers and whatnot, but they're kind of pointless because you're already going to take, if you take a flamethrower, or you'll need to buy another truck. to get them up near the SS as well. You've got Panzerfaustner guys to deal with vehicles, so then you're gonna have to look at what you're gonna want for vehicles. SS, you know, they can take whatever you feel like taking. It's gonna be, you're gonna have the powerful infantry already. If you're gonna run 2 squads or 3 squads with 3 vehicles, hell, even 4 squads, and you won't even need a tank. You're gonna be pushing in your entire army up into the combat. You're gonna want some definitely anti-tank assets though on your infantry. If you're doing that, you're kind of all in. You know, like a little armored car wasn't a bad choice. A lot of people still take a Puma. Puma is pretty versatile, has a nice anti-tank gun on it, has recce. If your meta where you're at allows a flamethrower vehicle, you know, you may think about taking like a Flampanzer or a Hetzer. You could take a Hetzer flame version. They're not too bad. But yeah, that's the beauty. One of the beauties of bolt action is that you can build an army however you want. What you want to not do though is just build it for the sake of building it and find you're going to end up having trouble. If I took 4 veteran SS units, no vehicles, and say a Panzer IV, that's going to be all my points. I'm going to be parked back in my deployment zone, and what's going to end up happening is I'm going to eventually have to start moving forward. I'm going to move a unit out of cover. I'm going to have multiple, like 3 or 4 enemy units putting pins on it. I'm going to spend the next turn standing in the middle of the road rallying, and I'm not going to be able to help. My guys aren't going to be able to help each other because they're just going to get out-order diced. And it makes it for a hard day when you've got like 4 pins on a vet squad, even if you only lost 1 guy, hoping that you don't fail that order check, and then your whole game plan goes out the window. So nice thing about a 10-man squad is even if your truck would get blown up, say you run it up to the middle of the board and then you hope for an order dice on the next turn and it doesn't happen and they blow it up, they're going to come out and go down. You're likely going to lose a man, you know, maybe 2. If they roll a d6, even if they roll a 6, they should only kill 2 of the guys, needing 5 ups. So it's not the end of the world. Your lieutenant may get smoked or the flamethrower, but you're still going to have a very tough vet squad up in close. So once you have it built and you practice pushing them in, if you've watched some of my battle reports, I've taken 1 squad before and they've done great. They've hold a spot, they take a ton of damage, they'll take punishment the whole game. The catch is oftentimes the other guys need to capitalize on your squad getting mangled. I've come to realize that 2 squads is better than 1 in those instances because they can't usually put enough damage on both squads, and you'll be able to rally one and the other one will be able to do something. But that's just a thought. That's my thoughts. You know, build what you like. Build the squads you like. The point system is going to work its way either way. I know Jackson, he plays a lot of SS, and the game I play against him and games I've seen him play, I think his biggest obstacle that he has to overcome is being out-order diced. So, yeah, there you go. So, if you have any other questions you guys want to put up, if you want to hear my opinion, whether it's good or bad, or you want to post a comment to counter me or agree or whatever, feel free. We'll try to get some dialogue going. All right, I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to go back to work on these Marines.